Okay, today we're going to be multiplying by tens, hundreds, and thousands. Okay, and this is really, really easy. I'm going to give you an example of what you're going to be able to do by the end of today. You're going to be able to do this problem in about 30 seconds. Okay? By the end of today, you'll be able to do that no problem. Some of you may already know how to do that, and that's fantastic, but that's what we're learning today. Before we get started, I'm going to do just a little brief intro on how to do this problem, okay? Oh, let me have you guys really quick grab your multiplication tables that are in your blue folders. They have your name on them, and so grab that out real quick and then hold it up so I know you got it. Okay. Owen, do you have yours? Should be in your blue folder. Okay, so we're just waiting on one person. The rest of you can put yours down. Pull it out and look in there good. That's why I have you put them in there so they don't. Now these are going to have to last you all year. I took the time to print these on heavy paper and laminate them. And I laminated them so you can write on them with an Expo marker. And it will erase. So you will need to probably have kind of a light color Expo marker. What are you doing, sir? Okay, you go get a regular pencil out of my bucket. Okay, we're not going to do this. All right, so you're going to be able to use your Expo marker and your eraser. So both of those things need to be out and in your basket. Your Expo marker and your eraser. So this is how you do this problem. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, step one, what?
I know the answer.
I don't need to know the answer. I need to teach how to do it. Good. Okay, so step one, you're going to identify what's called the basic fact. Basic facts are what you should already have memorized coming into 4th grade. So you should be able to tell me what 5 times 5 is. 25. What 2 times 2 is? 4. What 10 times 10 is? 100. So these are basic facts, are facts that you should know in your head and have memorized. If you don't have if you don't have that much memorized, that needs to be your priority. So you need to have all of these at least to 9 times 9. You need to have memorized. 9 times 8, 9 times 7, 9 times 6, all of them. Did you guys see, did I show you guys the nifty nines trick?
Yes.
Okay, so the nifty nines trick will help you, but it still isn't as fast as having it memorized. Who in here can spell their name? Who can spell their name? Every one of you. If you can spell your name, you can put your hands down. If you can spell your name, Julie, you can memorize multiplication facts because it's the same skill. Okay? The fact that you know how to spell your own name, the fact that you know your name, and those of you that know phone numbers or birthdays, all of that are will have memorized. Okay, so if you can memorize those, you can memorize your multiplication facts. All right, so here we go. Our basic fact is 8 times 7. What is, Jace? Are you focused back there? Okay, I don't see your eyes. Scooch up. Put your hands up on your desk. Okay, so you're reading a book during my math lesson. I'm glad that you're reading, but I'm absolutely not glad that you're doing it during math. Okay. 8 times 7. Multiplication table. This is how you do 8 times 7. You go to the 8 row, you draw a line all the way across. Then you go to the 7 and you go down and you stop when you get to that other line. Where did the two lines meet? At
56.
56. 8 times 7 is 56. Now, how many zeros do you see on the left side of the equation? 3. So watch what you're going to do. You ready? 1, 2, 3. You make a rainbow. So guess what the answer is?
56,000.
56,000. Pretty cool, right? So that is how we're going to do these great, big, huge problems. And Sonia, you can go home tonight and be like, Mom, look what I can do. All right? Okay, here we go. We are going to, I'm going to have you copy down. So this example that is in the book, I don't like their model. So I'm just going to have you write down 1,600 right here. And then we're going to get into using place value for figuring out problems like this. So the problem that they give us is 8 times 200, right? 8 times 200. You guys, I want you to repeat after me and use the same tone. You ready? 8 times 2 8 times 2 Okay, the reason that I said 100 in a different tone and quiet, because we're going to pretend for a minute, we're going to turn that 8 times 200 into 8 times 200. See, those numbers kind of can get intimidating. Looking at all at these big numbers. But if you just see 8 times 2, it makes it a little bit less intimidating. I can do 8 times 2, no problem. Okay, so we have taken those 2 zeros and turned them into the word hundreds. Sophie, we did that with our math magic. Our math magic. You didn't know that we had math magic, did you? Well, what am I holding? My magic wand. Okay, so this is what we did. We took 8 times 200 cash, which has 2 zeros, and we magically mathed those 2 zeros into the words hundreds. Now, we can go back and forth. We can do zeros, we can do the word hundreds, we can do tens, or how many zeros? 1. How many zeros? Waylon, how many zeros are in the number 10?
How many zeros?
Picture the number 10 in your head. 1, right? How many zeros, Owen, are in the number 1,000? 3. Okay, look at this. 10 is the same thing as 1 0. 100 is the same thing as 2 zeros. 1,000 is the same thing as 3 zeros. You with me?
Yes.
So we can use those words as zeros. So here we go. We turned 8 times 200 into 8 times 200. And 8 times 2 is what? 8 plus 8.
16.
16. And if we've got that 1600. Now, how do you write 1600s? Well, you write 16, and how many zeros are in 100?
3. 2.
Not places, just zeros, okay? So 2. So we write 1600. What number is that? 1,600. So we put our comma where we say the word thousand. Okay?
6.
So fill in 1,600 here. This is pretty cool, guys. You didn't know you were going to learn magic today, did you?
No. Is there magic?
Okay, here's another way you can do these problems, but I have to tell you that number lines are not my favorite. Okay, number lines are a little bit tricky to use because, yes, Ethan?
Are we about to talk about
Nope. So number lines are not my favorite because they're a little confusing. So we are doing the problem. Here it says Bob's sled shop. Good old Bob. Bob rents sleds in Colorado. And he rents about 4,000 sleds every single month. Bob's got some serious sleds. And so Bob wants to know how many sled rentals he does in 6 months. Okay? So we're going to basically count by 4,000 6 times. Okay? And each one of these, Waylon, is a jump. But they don't want to jump all the way to 4,000 right off the bat. You guys are just kind of figuring this out. So we're going to start by just jumping to 4. We're going to get rid of those 1,000 and just leave them off.
Yeah, Mario.
So we're going to jump 4 spots 6 times. So I'm going to do this here. So 4 times 6 is 24. Good. Now, if we were talking about tens, Waylon, how many zeros would we have? 1. So that's what they've done here. They've said, okay, that's how you do it with no zeros. If he rented 40 sleds a month instead of 4,000, we would jump by 40 each time, 6 times. So let's do 6 jumps at 40 each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 6 times 40, where do we end up?
240.
240. Okay? And then we can go to 2 zeros and jump 400 each time, 6 times. So if we jumped 400, 800, 1,200, 1,600, 2,000, 2,400, that's where we would end up. Now the last one is the one that we're actually doing, and that means we add 3 zeros to every spot we're jumping. All right, so 4,000, 8,000, 12,000, 16,000, 20,000, 24,000. So back to our original problem, which was 6 times 4,000. 6 times 4,000, where did he end up? 24,000. Because 6 times 4 is?
24.
Again, what's 6 times 4? 24. And how many zeros do I tack on? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Bob, good old Bob, rents 24,000 sleds in 6 months.
Wow. How much
Okay.
money would that cost?
Okay, so here we go. Basic facts. This is my favorite way to do these kind of problems. If 3 times 7 is 21, what would 3 times 70 be? 210. Have you guys ever played with or seen one of those balance scales?
Yes.
Where if you add something to this side, you have to add it to this side to get it to balance. Okay? So If we add a 0, look here. If we add a 0 to this side, we have to do the same thing over here. If we add 2 zeros to this side, what do we have to do over here?
Add 2 zeros.
Add 2 zeros, but first we have to write our basic fact answer, which is 3 times 7? 21 with 2 zeros. What does that equal?
2,100.
Okay, and then 3 times 7 equals? 21. How many zeros? 3. Which equals?
21,000.
Okay. So it's going pretty good so far, but guess what? They had to throw a wrench in our plan. They had to make it difficult. Because, look at this. How many zeros do you see on the left side of the equation? How do you see how many over here?
1.
Wait a minute. Okay. How many zeros do you see on this side?
1.
How many on this side?
2.
2.
Wait
Wait a minute. I want you to talk with the person sitting next to you about why in the world we have 1 0 over here and 2 over here. Okay, talk now. What do you guys think? How come there's 1 0 is 8 times 50? Okay, but we only have 1 0 to carry. Why do I have Why do I have 2 zeros right here, but only 1 on this side? If I look over here, I've got 1 0, 1 0, 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, 3 zeros. They all match up. Why do they not match up? What do you think, Landon?
Because
I'm going to be so excited if you use good terminology.
okay, the 40 is, went to 400, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, the 50 has 1 0,
Right.
and this thing has 2. So,
Did you lose it?
Yeah.
It happens. It's okay. Ethan, what do you think?
The answer is 40, but you add a 0. That's why there's 2 zeros.
Because the answer to our basic fact, 8 times 5, has a 0 in it, doesn't it?
I know.
Okay, I've already shared it. Waylon, have a seat. So, here we go. Because our basic fact answer here is 21, right? No 0 in 21. But our basic fact answer here, Jace, is 40. There's a 0 in our answer. So here's what I want you to remember. Brindley, I want you to really, really pay attention on this part, okay? So you only bring over the number of zeros that are on the other side of the equation. Ella, let's make good decisions, okay? So we're only going to bring over the number of zeros that are in one of the that are in the factors, not including the basic fact. Julie, they don't have to match. They don't always have to be the same. In the case when our basic fact has a 0 in its product. Okay, so let's do this. So if 8 times 5 is 40, and 8 times 5 is 40 here, and you bring over 1 0, what's 8 times 5? Everybody. What's 8 times 5? 40. Let's do that again. 8 times 5, Dakota? 40. And then how many zeros do I bring over?
2.
1, 2. The blue are what I bring over, okay? And if 8 times 5 is 40, how many zeros do I still have to bring over?
3.
3, good. So 40,000. So our number of zeros is not going to match when our basic fact answer has a 0 in it, okay? So we have 3 zeros here, but 4 over here. They won't match anytime. So what's another example of a basic fact that ends in a 0? Two numbers you can multiply together that have a 0 in the answer. Sophie? Ethan?
6 times 5.
6 times 5. What does 6 times 5 equal, everyone?
30.
30. So what Ethan said, if we did 6 times 5 is 30. What would 6 times 50 be? For a dojo point, raise your hand. What would 6 times 50 be? Waylon?
It would be 300.
300. Good. Give yourself a dojo point. 300. What would 6 times 500 be? Dakota?
3,000.
Nice job. That's a tricky one because you guys have a tendency to want to say 30,000, right? Did that cross your brain a little bit? Okay, so because you've been saying 30 and then you're tacking on zeros, but you have to think, we put a comma in there for that 1,000 word right after the 3. Okay, last one. 6 times 5,000. Okay, Sophie.
30,000.
Okay. I heard someone telling the answer, and you will lose a dojo point if I catch you doing that, because that doesn't help the student who's asked to be called on, okay? All right, here we go. This one says, how does the number of zeros in the product of 8 and 5,000 compare to the number of zeros in the factors? Okay, we have already talked about this. How many zeros do you see in the factors? 3. And in the product?
4.
Okay, so that's what we're going to put down. There are 3 zeros in the factors. There are 3 zeros in the factors and 4 in the product. Because the basic fact answer has a 0 in it. Okay, give you a second to copy that down, and then we'll go on. We're just about finished. Okay. So another 30 seconds or so, and we will move on. So again, it says there are 3 zeros in the factors and 4 in the product because the basic fact answer has a 0 in it. that haven't finished can go on and flip over your papers. We're just about done. If you feel like you are ready, you guys, the problems that you're going to do to show me you can do the assignment are on page 77, number 7, 8, and 9. So if you feel like you're ready to do that, you can go on to page 77 and do 7, 8, and 9. I'm not going to check them quite yet, but you can go ahead and do that. All right. Okay. Everybody finished with copying down that sentence? Okay, here we go. So now, stop doing 7, 8, and 9, and look at, we're going to skip this model again, but we're going to do the problem 2 times 500. Who can tell me what the basic fact is for the problem 2 times 500? Shelby? What is 2 times 5 equal? 10. Okay, and how many zeros do I bring over? 2. So what is my answer? 1,000. Please don't forget your comma. So 1,000 is our answer. All right, complete the pattern. If 3 times 8 is 24, what's 3 times 80? 240. Do you guys see how they got that so quick? Okay, I'm going to do something called a fist to 5. And a fist to 5, the guidelines are right under the TV. It says, if you completely understand what we're doing today and could teach somebody, like if a student was absent today and they needed help tomorrow, if you could teach it to them, give me 5 fingers. If you mostly understand and could show me, then 4 fingers. If you feel like you're doing pretty well, but you still need some more practice, 3 fingers. If you are having a hard time, 2 fingers. If you're really just lost, 1 finger. And 0 is going to be I don't understand yet.
It used to be I don't understand.
It used to be I don't understand at
But
all.
you were like, no.
But that's not a growth mindset, is it?
No.
If you just say I don't understand at all,
Yeah, that's
okay? That doesn't make it sound like you will understand later. But if you say I don't understand yet, then we'll get there.
I don't understand.
Okay. All right. Hands down. Okay. When we do fist to 5, it is important that you don't look at others, because can you see how if, like, let's say that Sonia is really understanding this. She's got it. She's up here in the front. She's like, I got this. 5 fingers. And then Sonia's friend Sophie, right behind her, is like, oh my gosh, I'm completely lost and I'm not understanding at all. But if Sonia turns around and sees me holding up 1 finger, she is going to think that I am dumb, and I do not want that. So you don't want to judge. We all learn different things at different times and at different rates. So don't stress if you don't understand. I just need you to be honest, because if I need more examples, then I got to give more examples. Do you have a question?
Last year when we did that, we had our eyes closed.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I do that sometimes too. Or I do it at chest level so that your hand's not way up in the air. Okay, here we go. So, if this is a pattern, and I want you, Owen, how many zeros are in this first number?
0.
How many's in this one?
1.
How many's in this one?
2.
How many's in this one?
3.
Guess how many zeros is in our answer on the 1 one?
1.
On the 2 one?
2.
On the 3 one?
3.
Okay, so the zeros, we're going to just bring those over. But we know because they told us that 3 times 8 is 24. So 3 times 8 is 24. 1 0 magically jumps over. 3 times 8 is 24. 2 zeros magically come over. So if you have a 24 with 2 zeros behind it, what number do you have? 2,400. And I would like for you guys to underline your basic facts. You guys are going to get so tired of hearing me say the words basic facts because I'm going to do it for the rest of the year. All right, so 3 times 8 equals?
24.
24. How many zeros?
3.
3. Okay, do you see how as we go 80, 800, 8,000, 2-digit, 3-digit, 4-digit, how they grow? This one's a 3-digit, this is a 4-digit, that's a 5-digit. They grow just to balance.
They grow up so fast.
They grow up so fast. Okay, so if 6 times 2 is, oh, by the way, let's go back to our multiplication table because some of you are going to need to use it. If you have your facts memorized, you do not have to use your multiplication table. That is not required. But if you need it, then it's there for you. 6 times 2. So we go down here on the yellow, find 6. Go over here. Go up, our other number's 2. So go find the 2 at the top. Go down. Where do they cross at?
12.
12. So 6 times 2 equals 12. What would 6 times 20 be, Owen? Very good. You got it. What would 6 times 200 be? Zing. So if 6 times 2 is 12, and 6 times 20 is 12 with a 0 behind it, what would 6 times 200 be? So what would you start with? 6 times 2 would be what? Do you know what that number is? Huh? I couldn't hear you. Alright, so are you understanding this? So 6 times 2 we've got right here. 6 times 2 equals 12. You write down your 12. So 6 times 2 again is 12. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would be 1,000. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright, good. Okay. So, Sonia, what would 6 times 200 be?
It would be 12,000.
Write it down. Write down what your answer would be. Okay, and how do you say that? Where would your comma go? Write your comma in. There you go.
12,000.
No, how do you say that one number before the comma is a what?
1,200.
Okay, that's how you say it, 1,200. That's what I was saying earlier, Sonia. You have to be careful not to automatically say 12 each time, because if there's only 2 zeros behind the 12, then our comma goes right here and it's 1,200. Make sense? Okay, all right. But in this case, 6 times 2 is 12 with 3 zeros would be?
12,000.
Okay. 4 times 5 equals? 20. 4 times 50 equals? 200. 4 times 500 equals?
2,000.
2,000. 4 times 5,000? 20,000. Okay? All right. This is reviewing the place value thing, we're going to replace these 2 zeros with the word 100. Okay, so 6 times 500 is the same as 6 times 500. And what is 6 times 5? Owen, what's 6 times 5?
5 is...
He's got it, guys. Count by 5 6 times. 30. And then Owen, how so it's 30 hundreds, right? And if it's 30 hundreds, how many zeros do we add on for the word 100? Picture 100 in your mind. How many zeros do you see?
2.
So how many zeros do we add on for the word 100?
2.
2. So we're going to add 30 with 2 zeros behind it. So our answer to 6 times 500 is 3,000. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. 9 times 5,000. You guys do this one. Hold your pencil, right? So, Jason, here's your sheet. Is it in your travel binder? Okay, get it out. And I have you write down that you were meeting during math. Did you get it? Okay. All right. I'm going to challenge you to see if you can figure these out. You're supposed to be doing this problem. Supposed to be doing this problem. Supposed to be doing this problem.
I don't get it. Like this
It's
part.
just like this. Exactly the same thing you just did. Only the word thousands instead of hundreds. Oops, sorry. Did you finish this problem? Okay, let me check it. Alright, put that up. Do this problem first, then do that.
I don't get number 6.
Awesome job. Okay, Waylon, go quick. All right. Okay, here we go. So 9 times 5,000. We are taking off the zeros and adding the word thousand. So instead of 9 times 5 with 3 zeros, we're going to put 9 times 5,000. Write that down. 5 in that first blank. Then what is 9 times 5,000? Shelby? 45,000. And how many zeros do we need for the word thousand? 3. So 45 with 3 zeros behind it is 45,000. Okay. We have 3 problems to do on our together, and then you guys are going to go up and do these. Everybody, we're on number 10 now. Give me a thumbs up if you see where we're at.
Why are we skipping?
Because you guys are doing those on your own, but I want to show you how to do these real quick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because these are different. Okay, so Jace, on these problems, you have to multiply. You have to find one of the factors. So we have a factor times a factor equals a product, Juliet. And so here we multiply something times 9,000 to get 63,000. We got to figure out what we multiply times 9,000 to get 63,000. Ethan, were you able to do it?
Yeah, I did all of them.
What'd you get on this number 10?
7.
7. Let's see if Ethan's right. Then he can tell us how he did it. He got 7. So we can see if he's right by multiplying what's 7 times 9.
7.
Let's do our nifty 9 strike. 7 times 9. Hold up 10 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 63. Okay, is that what it has right here?
Yes.
And we've got 3 zeros on this side and 3 over here. So is Ethan right?
Yes.
He sure is. So Ethan, how did you figure that out?
I figured it out because I know how 7 times 9, and then I just added zeros.
Perfect. And the zeros were already there, so you didn't have to add any to yours. Very good. Okay, so what do you multiply 7 times to get 56? Ella?
8.
8. So let's see if Ella's right. Ella says we multiply 7 times 8 to get 56. Watch this. This is how you divide with a multiplication table, Jace. Eyes up here, please. Okay, put the markers down in your basket. Okay, so this is how you use a multiplication table to divide. Dakota, you ready? We're doing 7 and 56. So we don't have 56 rows, so I know I'm going to use the 7 row. Slide over to 56, there it is, and then you go all the way up. Is Ella right?
Mm-hmm.
8. So 7 times 8 is 56, right? But how many zeros are in the product?
3.
So how many do I have to put behind that 8? 3. Good. So it should be 8,000. Is that what you got, Ethan?
Yeah.
All right, last one. We got to figure out what we multiply 8 times to get 32. So I'm going to go to the 8 row, find 32, go up. What's the answer? 4. And how many zeros are in our product?
2.
So how many do we have to add to that 4?
2.
2. Okay, I want you guys right now to do questions 7, 8, and 9. Raise your hand when you're finished. I will come and check it, and then I will give you the assignment to do, which is the back page completely. Feel free to use your multiplication table. Okay, you can't really see underneath that, so I want you to use the lighter part. Okay. So, not with your pen or your jacket. Where's your eraser? Okay, I'm coming to check them, guys. Do you just not know how to multiply?
I do.
Okay, I want you to underline. So what does the underline in this problem? Makes it fact, which is everything without the zeros. So I want you to underline 7 and 6. Now go over here and use your this and go to 7 row and then 6. What is 7 times 6? 42. So write 42. And now how many zeros do you add? Yes. Very good. All right, Ella, we're going to do this entire page. Okay? That's the lesson.